Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's TST. Thanks for joining. And as usual, the call is public and recorded and will be shared live on YouTube. So please be mindful of the comments you make and the information you share. So today, first up, as usual, I want to remind everybody that we have around 10 days for code freeze. November 26th is 2 Fridays from now, actually the Friday after Thanksgiving for those of you in the US. So please do make sure that you get everything in for that before that time frame if we are talking about features. So the next item is the stale state of etcd in various pieces of the system. Unfortunately, there seems to be some stale states still that happen once in the OpenONU adapter and one in the resource manager of the core in vOLTHA 2.8, by the way. What we did was that we did actually put in work to backport everything to the old to 2.8 as well. But there still seems to be some issues in the resource manager that some stuff is left over, so that would need to be investigated. And I know that the folks at the OpenONU Go adapter are actually taking a look at some stale state that is left over from when we have a core restart followed by an adapter restart. That leaves some stuff in the ONU adapter related keys. So we're doing that. Girish, anything you want to add on this topic?
No, nothing. Yeah, we need to investigate this.
Yeah, so if you're interested, there's going to be things and elements around in Slack that typically you can follow either in the OpenONU Go adapter channel or in the vOLTHA Kafka to gRPC channel or the vOLTHA team channel itself. So yeah, that's where you can find more information around all of this. Okay. Theo, do you want to give us an update on the new app? Yes.
Yeah, I think we're in a pretty good shape. There is one issue that we are seeing at scale that we are currently investigating. I have a possible fix that I'm gonna test today, and if that's the case, we should be good to merge.
Great, that's good. That's very good. I think it's perfect timing before the release, and we have seen very stable tests except this scale issue, and it also improves on some of the issues that we were seeing with the old app, both at scale and sometimes with the installation removal of flows. So I think it's really good. Any questions to Theo on this one? Okay. If there's no question, I think we can proceed forward. On the delete during reconciliation, I believe this is done. There is one patch still open under the OpenONU adapter Go repo that I saw Ken +1 this morning. Ken, is there anything else that we need to discuss on this delete during reconciliation?
No, I don't think so. I did a +1 with a comment. The comment doesn't have to be addressed right now. It just says something to think about. But it can be +1. Yeah.
One last thing.
Okay, then I will probably merge it today. And maybe create a jira for the task that you just mentioned. Okay. Okay. Mahir, I think the next two topics are yours, both IPv6 and voice over IP support. Can you give us some thoughts on these?
Actually, for IT version 6, I hope that Sakant were here and give the latest updates because I don't know about any other updates on the topic. So I don't have any updates about IP version 6 support. For the other one, I think it is about VoIP you're mentioning.
Yes.
Yeah, no new update on VoIP side. We're still making some tests. I put some documents and need some clarifications on operator sides for the detailed requirements. Then I will share it with you. Okay, then we can talk problems there on the problems there. Okay.
So you're mentioning that you need some clarification from the Turk Telecom side?
Yes.
Okay. What's the issue?
The issue is, I mean, I mentioned at the last meeting that we probably should use the same GAN port IDs for all the VoIP services on the same ONU. So we're trying to clarify this requirement, if we should use the same GAN port or the different GAN ports. Yeah, this is the first clarification point for us. And the second one, we are trying to figure out if we should use only one SIP agent on the ONU, so only one MAC port, MAC address, and only one IP address for the ONU, or per ports. This is some kind of investigation we are doing on our side, not from Telecom actually. So these 2 points need to be clarified in our side to finalize the documents. Actually, I mean, if anyone on the call have the experience on web service on ONUs on postport, then we may help on these issues to finalize the issues, especially about the MAC and IPs that should be assigned to ONU for each subscriber. If they are different or they're same, the NIS should be created also on the ONU. If they're same or different for per user, we can discuss these issues with the ones that have experience on the issue.
Unfortunately, I don't have that much experience on voice over IP or in ONUs, but yeah, let me open the floor and see if somebody has that experience.
Yes, this, as you said, this is a kind of, I mean, expertise on ONU side. So it's somebody that have expertise on ONUs and experience this web service on sports may help us.
Okay, well, reach out to Mahir if you have something on this topic. I think we're going to discuss it even more at the Open ONU Go call tomorrow around all the discussions that because most of the implementation will go in there. So
yeah.
But it's also a fair assessment to make that this might not be in 2.9, as we said here.
No, it cannot.
Okay. Okay. Then there was also a ProtoPatch that was uploaded by the Netsia folks on the on the voice over IP and also technology profile API.
For that, I'm going to talk with Yasin to put the work in progress indication on the to the comment, because I think we have to clarify these issues I mentioned, and perhaps this may has effects on proto chains also. So even if the comments on the patches are addressed, we shouldn't merge this proto chains, I think, also.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
Keep in mind that they are work in progress, yeah.
Yeah, no, and thanks for the -1 over there. It's a good indication that we don't want to merge them. I think it's fine keeping them open. You don't have to put it as work in progress. It's okay keeping them as is right now, as they are right now, and with the -1.
Yeah.
I think David had some comments. I did some. So I think we can proceed on this one. But I believe that we could probably integrate this after 2.9 as well. So we release 2.9 with the existing set of APIs, and then we integrate this new technology profile within 2.10.
Okay, makes sense.
Any more comments or questions? Okay, no. Then the other topic was the MPLS support in vOLTHA, but I don't think we have we have information. We have anything to discuss over there, unless somebody has more information like Amit. But I don't think there is any update over there, unless you did some testing that might be interesting to this group. Amit, anything to report?
No, Andrea, nothing to add.
Okay. So that was the last topic I had for today. Fortunately, I joined late, and I couldn't really prepare anything else that needed discussion because of the BBF meeting. But I'd like to open the floor and see if anybody has anything they want to bring up.
Andrea, I have a couple of things. Sorry
Yes,
for the background noise. Yeah, so I created 2 JIRAs. I don't have the numbers handy, but you might be able to figure them out. So just wanted to let you know, and yeah, if anybody has any thoughts on those, we are working on those, and depending on how quickly the implementation goes, and depending on the testing status, we could take a call whether it can be pushed into this release or not.
What are these, Amit? Sorry. What's the topic of these 2?
One is regarding an event in the Kafka bus, which we would want to have, or when the ONU or a device gets deleted, ONU or OLT device. And the other one is regarding an optimization on the ONU software download process, where we plan to reduce the number of RPC calls between the ONU adapter and the OLT adapter.
Okay. Okay, so the one is 4465 raise delete events when an OLT ONU is deleted from vOLTHA. Okay. Is that the one?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And the other one is create new RPC for sending segments during ONU software download procedure. So the one for 465 is pretty straightforward. I think this can definitely be included. Should be no problem, and a very minor addition. But can you explain better for 466?
Yeah, this is regarding the software download, right? Number. Yeah.
Yep.
So with the gRPC movement, right, or moving to gRPC from Kafka, so each OMCI message from the ONU adapter to the OLT adapter is a RPC. And when the software download happens, there are a set of OMCI messages, typically around 32, which are sent without waiting for a response from, or without a response from the ONU. So the ONU acknowledges all the 32 messages via one response, OMCI response. So the optimization is basically asking to not send multiple RPCs, rather send all these messages or all these segments within one RPC.
But you're talking within VOLTHA.
Within VOLTHA, yes. So
Okay.
between the OLT adapter to the OLT/ONU, it remains the same. It's
Okay.
only the change is only between the ONU adapter to the OLT adapter.
I see. Okay.
Wouldn't that mean though that we're putting some OMCI understanding in the OpenOLT adapter? Because at this point is not only sending the messages, it's treating them and splitting them in multiple messages to the device.
Yes, so all the OMCI messages will be within the one gRPC message, and yeah, it has to loop through the all those messages and send them the way it is sending it right.
So Amit, this require a proto change in order to send multiple OMCI messages in one request. And that will also require a change in the ONU adapter, the way they process the OMCI message for image download, as well as a change in the OLT adapter to handle bundle of OMCI messages. Do you think that kind of change can be done before the feature complete is done? Because we don't have a lot of weeks left, I believe.
Yeah, so once the code is up for review, I think we can take a call whether to include it or not. But given the fact that we will introduce a new gRPC, right, a new RPC, so it should not cause any regression to the existing code, except for the software download part of it.
Yeah, I understand that. It's the thing is like the in terms of now, because you're sending like a bunch of OMCI messages, right? So when we do all those, when you restart or OLT restart test, the code has to handle like not just one OMCI failure. They will need to be able to handle like multiple OMCI failures. So I don't know if they're about regression, but it definitely there's a little bit more logic that needs to be in place, especially on failures.
No, but I think the general way we handle OMCI does not change. So we always send one message for like activation and get and set operation. It's just for the software image download where we actually send like 10-15 section of the image, and then we ask for an acknowledgement from the new, and then we send 10 or 15 more. So it's those blocks that, if I understood correctly, we want to send in a single request.
Yeah, that was my understanding as well.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And
But
So
is the
it's not
download
changing.
is the download streamed today, or is it?
no, it's not
just
a
No, it's treated as every other request. One section of OMCI data per gRPC call.
So I guess the question then becomes, if the transport is just a bunch of OMCI messages, should this be a case where streaming is used as opposed to implement a batch in a gRPC from an architectural standpoint?
I would be all for it. The question is, do we have enough time to do it?
I'm not arguing time right now. I'm saying if that's the correct way, should we be looking at it that way and saying, and not trying to get this other way in before release, and say, if the correct way is streaming, let's design an architect for streaming and not kind of do this quick version.
Yeah, so that was a thought that I had discussed with Ken, and I think Ken's suggestion, as well as what we thought, is that using unary is simpler rather than handling streams, and so this becomes a much more easier implementation. Is what the thought was.
Yeah, there's two aspects of it. It's at the time that we have that discussion, it was to see whether we get the gRPC code in as quickly as we can. So so stream bringing a little bit more logic that we had to put in place on especially on failures, because we need to monitor those streams and make sure that it's, everything is up. But the case of sending OMCI messages for image download, I think that fits well within a stream, in the sense of once I just sending things to the other side, like it's you just open the stream. I don't know in this specific case whether you're going to open a stream only for the time that you have to send messages, or you want to keep it constantly on for other image download or not.
No, in this case, the stream would be there only when the image is downloaded, right? Because after that, we don't need this.
And
So that's that just seems, as you indicated, the perfect use case for what a stream is designed for, right? You get a generator function, get all the events, and then close the stream when you're done, right? So architecturally, it seems like that is the use case we should be aiming at, rather than using single RPCs.
Yeah, in this case, definitely, like it's streaming makes sense. Amit, is the plan to open a stream per ONU, or are you going to open a stream and between the adapters and reuse it for if you have a bunch of ONUs to update?
Yeah, so we have not yet given a thought on the streams, but yeah, if we plan to use streams, I think keeping it simple with one stream per ONU, or whenever that download is happening, and close the stream once the download is complete, would make sense.
Okay, per ONU and make it a little bit simpler than to deal with a stream that keeps open all the time.
So if I understand correctly, anyway, the CLI let you update the software on one single ONU. You cannot update it on all of the ONUs. Is that correct?
Yes, I think right now the implementation is one device at a time. As in, yeah, so through the CLI, through the vCore, we fire one download request and it would update one.
Yeah, so it will make total sense for me to have one stream per device, because we are updating one of them at any given time anyway. So.
Yeah, I think that can be done. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could still update multiple in parallel, but there will be parallel streams.
Yeah, but they are an independent process from each other. So it makes sense that they have parallel streams.
Right.
Okay, then we'll take the feedback and yeah, we'll try to implement it over using streams.
Okay. Thanks for that. The other one, Amit, the Kafka one, should be pretty straightforward. Just upload the patch whenever you have it, and we can definitely include it into 2.9. This one, I would wait and see when the patch comes up to decide whether we include it into 2.9 or we do it for the 2.10 release.
Yeah, so on that one, a small discussion that we had internally, what we think is that this event should be raised from the vCore just before it deletes the entry from the HAD or the database.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Disconnect from your computer. You're connected on your phone.
Can you repeat that, Amit? What entry are we actually talking about?
Yeah, so the requirement is that whenever a device is deleted from vOLTHA, notification should be sent out on the event bus saying that this device is getting or has been deleted. So the discussion that I was talking about is that where from exactly within vOLTHA this event should be raised, and that is what we think is that this should be raised from the vCore when it deletes the entry from the database, right? The device entry.
Okay, so there's two. I agree it has to be from the vCore, but from the vCore perspective, there's two different kind of delete that we do. There's a delete false and a regular delete. There's a regular delete that goes all the way to the adapter, and then wait for the response, and then based on that, we figure out like whether it's a failure or not. And then the delete false, where we actually delete the device and then we send the delete request to the adapter. And potentially you can get a message on Kafka that says, yes, everything has been deleted, but maybe there's a failure on the adapter. So how do you want to handle that?
Yeah, so the delete force is something that I think should work. So what you're saying is there already is an event which is going onto the Kafka bus when the device is deleted?
No, I don't know if there's such an event or not. I know when there's a failure, we publish on Kafka for any request. If there's a failure, there's something get published. For success, typically there's none. But in this specific case, suppose we delete a device in the core successfully. Let's say we have a delete false and that's gone. So we publish that event on Kafka, and at the same time we send a delete to the adapter, but that one failed on the adapter side. Are we bringing like confusing messages on that Kafka bus where the system is not really in the core says it's all gone, and it is gone, but on the adapter there's still some leftovers.
Yeah, so I think given the workflow that we have, so whenever ONU loses connection, we delete the ONU device from vOLTHA and then re-add it back whenever the ONU shows up again, right? So the DT workflow. So if there is a partial delete, right, which means that, okay, it's deleted from the core, but not from the adapter, then the re-add might fail again, right? The re-add might fail. And then I'm not sure in what state the system goes, and maybe ONU reboot might be needed to bring it back. So ideally, we would want that only when the device is successfully deleted, the event is raised, right? And for the failure case, as we see that there already is an event.
Oh, okay, so when you mentioned like successful delete, that means when we get a response from the adapter, when we know for sure it has been deleted everywhere.
That's correct, yeah.
Oh, okay. And if it's deleted in the core, but for some reason not deleted from the adapter, then do we still raise a different kind of events? Currently, we just raise for delete false. There's because the core always like successful in the core, so the core doesn't do much with that.
Mhm.
So maybe for the delete false, we still have to send a failure message in case of a failure from the adapter as well.
Yes. So, but I think it's a little tricky here, right? Because if we say delete force and then still get an error, I think that doesn't make sense, right? Then anyways, we're not able to force the delete.
That's correct.
Would an event from the adapter as well, help in this situation? I'm not sure.
Because the core will definitely get the message back from the adapter. So the core will know its state, like it will know that Wobit has deleted everything correctly in the core, and also will get the adapter response. So we will get in that situation where the core will say, okay, everything is deleted correctly, but I have an error from the adapter. So should we send kind of a specific Kafka mass event from that situation?
Yeah, I think it has to be a different event because it needs to be able to distinguish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the event has to be different in that case.
Okay.
What's the reason because of why a delete force might fail?
Yeah, all kind of reason, I believe, in the adapter.
But the really, I'm wondering if delete force, we should, in some sense, always consider it successful, at least in some parts. Like a delete force in the core. If the core succeeds this part, it can say, okay, I deleted forcefully this device from myself. And I agree with that. Maybe an adapter event might also help. And so the real delete force or the real delete device is only the combination when all three of the events happen. Even though it seems to be a little bit more complicated.
Sorry, but the delete force doesn't basically means remove all the data for this device from the database.
Yeah, but Theo, let's say you cannot communicate to the adapter. When you issue delete force, you don't know if it deleted the information or not.
Yeah, no, the only case is in which it cannot fail because of some state in the system, and can fail only if there are miscommunications.
Yes,
Like if the adapter cannot talk to the database, or the core cannot talk to the adapter, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if that's the case, how do we recover from that?
Interesting. I mean, the only way is, the core indicates an event and the adapter indicates another event, but, the external systems are, exposed to, the internal architecture and, the internal components, which.
Yeah, it would be easier for the core just to send a message like this status in the core and then the status in the adapter, because the core has those information.
But aside events, seems to me that there is potentially an underlying problem that we might get in a situation in which we issue a delete force and some parts of the device are not really deleted, and so we might get stuck somewhere.
But given that what we have currently, right, wherein both the delete as well as the delete force could fail, right, in some parts of the system or everywhere in the system, eventually or effectively it means that the delete failed. So then do we need two APIs? Maybe we have only one.
What do you mean we need two APIs, but we have only one?
No. Do we need two APIs? We could do with only one, right? Because both the delete as well as the delete force could fail.
Yeah, but they could fail for different reasons, because the delete could fail because of the device state is not in a deletable state. While the
Can the
delete
component,
force... Oh, go ahead.
please
David.
continue. No, please continue. Finish your thought.
Oh, just the delete force can only fail if something is broken in the system, like if we cannot reach the database or we cannot reach the adapters. So it's much more unlikely that the delete force will fail.
Can components determine when data that they have pushed or they're the source of truth for in the KV store, can they determine when that has been orphaned and is no longer reachable through the API? And if so, do we at some point periodically or whatever need to run essentially a Reaper that says, look, here's how I'm going to try to clean up after functions that have failed where my data is in an incomplete state. Essentially doing a consistency check on the database and remove any orphaned data.
Yeah, that's a separate question. I think, right now we need to, I think right now we're discussing a different point, whether how do we deal with, delete failures? What event do we indicate to the external system?
Well, as far as I know, if it's a normal delete, we deal with it with the fact that the device doesn't go away. Because if you try to delete a device and the delete...
I think we lost it. But yeah, the point that David was making, the use of a Reaper that cleans up data, I think that's a valid point, and we should consider it.
The point being that if the delete fails or a delete force fails, I'm not sure there's anything we can do about it. All right, we've done all we can.
Yeah.
And all we can then is, we're going to get inconsistent state between who thinks what's what. And the question then becomes how to clean it up. Unless we're going to accept multiple delete force requests, even if a device doesn't exist, so that it can essentially resend a message for something that no longer exists, it seems like we have to essentially do a status check on the data.
I think if the device is removed from vOLTHA, meaning that the core has no notion of it anymore, even though it failed in an adapter, we should consider that the device deleted, because there's no way we can access it anymore. And if there is some stale state, agreed, we should have a Reaper. But from an external system perspective, that device is gone. Because there's no way that the outward system can access it, and we can accept operations on a non-existing device ID. I don't think that makes any sense.
No,
So maybe-
so the point, sorry, Andrea. The point I was trying to make is that after a delete, generally, at least in the Deutsche Telekom workflow, most probably there will be an attempt to re-add the device, right? So say if we use a force delete and we get a success, but we still have to wait to hear back if there is a failure from the adapters, right? Because we are not certain that it has gone away from the adapters as well. Because if it is not gone away from the adapters, when we try to re-add it, it might fail.
Well, yes and no, because if we issue a delete, at least the way I understand it is that we do everything by device ID, and that device ID is unique. So the next time the device will come again into the system, it will have a different device ID. So all the keys for that device, maybe they're still state in a TCD, maybe they're junk that it's just sitting there, but you're going to have a fully new set of elements for the new device that comes in after you re-add it. Am I making sense?
So, okay, my question is that why don't we keep it simple and say that if we are not able to delete the device from any part of the system, then we say that the delete device failed, which is, I think, the behavior of the current delete only and not the delete force. So isn't that sufficient? And we let the user take a call as to what he wants to do. Maybe he will retry it again, delete it again. Maybe he tries it 2-3 times and it doesn't work. And maybe reboots the ONU.
You're getting
Yeah,
into almost a two-phase delete where, hey, everybody, make sure you can delete it, and then here's the event to go actually delete it.
Amit, hold on. I'm okay with that with a normal delete, but that
Okay.
behavior is not applicable to the delete force, because the delete force is purge everything, do whatever you can, whatever you don't, whatever you cannot do, you cannot do.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm okay sending that event in this case with the normal delete, waiting for the reply to of the adapters, and then sending out the Kafka event from the core. I'm okay with that. But if you want an event for the delete force to happen, then it is not guaranteed that all the resources are completely cleaned up in the adapters.
But I don't think that matters to the upper layer, though.
Exactly. But I was just about to say, but it doesn't matter because the device will come up fresh with new ID. So all the keys will be new. So that stale state will just be there, and we need to put in a Reaper, but that's another story.
Agree up to an extent, because if the cleanup is not happening at the OLT adapters, right, there would be resources like gem ports and things which are allocated. And if this happens multiple times, we would be losing out on those resources. So the next time the device comes in, it might not succeed at the adapter because maybe it ran out of resources.
Agreed, and that's why we need to be very precise in putting in a Reaper that runs every X amount of times. But also, I just want to point out that this is should be a fairly corner case scenario, because what we're saying is that there is no way we can delete the device from the OLT adapter during a delete force, and the delete force should only happen when you're really stuck. The order of operations should be you do a delete. If it works, then you're good. If it doesn't, then you try delete force, and then during that delete force, there is another failure that prevents you from deleting the OLT. So we're going into a corner case. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, agreed. It's not something that would happen very often, but potentially
so
could. Yes.
Yeah. So with the combination of this is a fairly narrow corner case, and the presence of a Reaper that we have to put in. I'm not saying it's there right now. With the combination of these two, I think we can live with the possibility that some small amount of resources are wasted for a certain period of time.
The one thing that we need to make sure it's on the delete force that there's no resource that is left in the container itself. That if there's anything that is left over, it's in the KV store, but we don't have structures in memory that's still around.
Also, you're saying some maps in the.
Yeah, some maps of whatever, because those we should be able to get rid of those.
Again, I would say fairly low-level corner case.
Yeah, of course.
Well, the only reason for which we may not be able to get rid of those is that the core cannot communicate with the adapter, so the adapter doesn't actually know that the device is gone.
Yeah, but the communication between the core and the adapter, if you issue a delete, and there's no the communication is not possible at that time, then you'll get a failure right away at the command prompt at the vault kernel if you're using that.
Even with the ---- force?
Yes.
Okay, then we should be fine.
And at that point, if there's a communication break, when it's reestablished, shouldn't we go through a reconcile phase then and pick up those objects that we on the adapter that should be deleted, and we clean up there anyway, I would expect.
Yes, there will be a reconcile, and after the reconcile, then somebody can issue that delete command again. Or there's the other scenario where we have like that's a fix that I've been working on, where the OLT got deleted and the callback was issued, but the communication with the ONU was down. So at that point, when the ONU come back, when your adapter come back, the delete force get applied automatically. So that's instead of doing a reconcile, that's where cleanup happens.
Okay. So I think the conclusion was, Amit, just send an event with the details, with the delete, whenever the normal delete happens and the adapters reply success to you. Send an event out when with a delete force happens and the core replies success to you, and then put in an etcd reaper for stale state every some minutes configurable via, some seconds configurable via Android. Make sense?
Yes, and it's unpaid. That's the critical element.
Yeah, I will say that the repair is definitely a 2.10 thing.
Yes, agreed.
Sounds good to me.
Thanks, Amit. Okay. Okay, given that we are at the top of the hour, any other questions from anybody? No? Okay, then if not, thanks everybody for joining, and I'll talk to you again soon. Let's keep up the great work. It's, again, as I said, 10 more days till conference, so let's push to get everything in, and for the things that are still left out, and so it's pretty good release. Thanks everybody. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.